EMR, CPOE prescriptions, electronic refills from the pharmacy. When the patient requests a refill or the physician is doing a refill during a visit, it is handled at the encounter level as we've discussed in other videos. In this video, we're going to look specifically at refill requests that come directly from the pharmacy. Now, this is a specific service with SureScript that the provider must be enrolled with. Once it is enabled for the provider, then the prescription details are received as an attachment to a message within the provider's prognosis inbox. Now, this is based upon a couple of supported events being enabled at your system level. At times, the patient name that the pharmacy has may be different than what is in prognosis, and it will result in a mismatch. This can also be resolved, however, so that the prescription can still be completed. In addition to the provider receiving the message, up to 5 additional users, such as nurses or medical assistants, may also receive the message on the doctor's behalf based on local workflow. Now, the prescription can be filled exactly as it is written, or it can be modified based on the situation. You have the ability of directly approving or denying as written without making any changes, or you can deny the prescription request as written and immediately replace it with a new prescription. No existing encounter is required. However, the system actually auto-generates a refill request encounter in the background, and this is reflected on the patient's document list. Now, for controlled substance medications, there is, of course, the required setup and configuration for the electronic prescription of controlled substances, which we discuss in separate videos here on the Resource Center. So I'm going to toggle into prognosis, and we're going to take a look at several examples. You'll notice I'm logged in here as Dr. Cooper. I've opened up his inbox messages, and here towards the top, you'll notice several with the subject line SS_refill request. And that stands for SureScript refill request. I have some here where the patient's name is in a blue hyperlink, Olivia Pope, but I also have some here where the name is appearing in black font and is not hyperlinked. Joy Abbott, the fact that it's not hyperlinked indicates that there is a mismatch. In the case of Olivia Pope, we're able to match her demographically, so we're giving you a hyperlink to her chart. In the case of Joy Abbott, however, you're going to have to confirm who she is if in fact she is your patient. Then you will be able to link it to the appropriate chart to complete the refill request. So we are going to look at both of these examples. In both of these cases, you'll notice in the zoom column we have a magnifying glass icon. This is the attachment from the pharmacy to the prescription details. So the first example we're going to look at here is where we're able to match the patient, and we're going to approve the request for a standard drug. So when I click the icon here for the refill request, the screen is going to pre-populate with the details from the pharmacy. So because this is simply a standard drug, there's no electronically signing involved, all I'm going to do is click the accept button. This is then going to send my request to the pharmacy, and we see up here at the top we have the confirmation message when it's successful. Now in this next example, I'm just going to go back to my inbox and choose another one for Olivia Pope. We're going to do a controlled substance. So this time when I click the accept button, notice we get the pop-up, the two-factor authentication process, where we're going to now have to enter our prognosis password, generate an OTP code on our token, and then click the sign and send button. That is validating now the identity with the digital certificate on my token against my provider master setup. And notice I have the confirmation message across the top that my refill response was sent successfully, accepted, and verified by SureScript. Now incidentally, if you look across the bottom of the page here, all of the fields and action buttons are now disabled. This prevents you from duplicating the refill request, and there's a permanent record of it now written to the patient's document list by that system-generated encounter in the background. Now I'm going to go back into my inbox, and in this example, we are going to choose Joy Abbott. And this is one that we know is a mismatch because there's no hyperlink to the chart. So I'm still going to click on the prescription attachment, which is the magnifying glass. And in the upper left where we see the patient details, you'll notice that instead of the name, I have an enabled binocular. And right below it is the details if we had found a match. But since I have not found a match in this case, I'm going to click the binocular to invoke my patient search. Now right beside it here, we have the patient details that the pharmacy has sent us. We have Joy Abbott with this spelling. She's a female born on 10/31/1944. So when I click my binocular on the EMR patient search, we're going to look for a Joy Abbott that is the same patient. Maybe the same date of birth, but the name is misspelled. So we'll go ahead and search on that. And we notice we don't have Joy Abbott at all. So let's delete the name and search on the date of birth and see maybe Joy has a different married name or maiden name. So we can search on her date of birth as 10/31/1944. And there she is. We see that within our practice we have her name hyphenated as Abbott Ackerman, whereas the pharmacy just sent it to us as Abbott. But since the date of birth matches, we know that it's the right patient, so we're just going to go ahead and choose her. Now you'll notice up here in the EHR section, my patient is now populated. That allows me to either accept or deny the prescription now that it is complete. So I'm just going to go ahead and accept this one. And as with all of our other prescriptions, you'll see we get the confirmation message when it's been accepted. Now in this next example, we're going to deny the refill request instead of accept it. I'm going to go ahead and choose another one here of Olivia's. Now you'll notice at the bottom right now, the deny button is grayed out. That is because in order to deny a prescription refill request, you do need to specify a reason and enter a note. So you'll notice right above here, I have a denial reason code pick list defined by SureScripts. I'm going to go ahead and choose whichever one is appropriate. Now my deny button has become active. If I want to add another note to the pharmacist, I can. And now I have two choices at the bottom. I can simply deny it, which will send the message back to the pharmacist, including any notes and denial reason you've associated so that they can inform the patient accordingly. The other choice is new prescription. This does the same thing that deny does in that it sends a message to the pharmacist indicating that prescription as written has been denied, but also alerts the pharmacy to expect a new prescription to replace it. So first of all, we're just going to say deny. This again is going to deny the refill by sending an electronic message back to the pharmacy with the reason code and the note that I defined. We get the same confirmation message across the top that it has been successfully sent, accepted, and verified by SureScript. Now in this last example, we're going to do a denial but follow it up with a new prescription. So again, I'm going to go ahead and click the magnifying glass to open up the prescription, enter my reason and a note, but this time instead of just clicking the deny button, I'm going to click the new RX button. So as soon as I click the button, it's asking me to confirm, are you sure you want to deny it and make a new prescription? Yes, I do, so I'm going to click the OK button. And what this is going to do is two things. One is going to send that denial message, which is the exact same as we just saw by clicking the deny button. But at the same time, it is going to open up a new prescription screen so I can then immediately back it up with a new prescription. And now at this point, it's exactly as any other prescription that we've discussed in our other videos. You'll choose the drug, either one drug at a time up here in the individual drug details, or down here at the bottom by using the preferred drug list. So in this case, instead of the Vicodin, maybe I want to send Percocet because she's having a better response. It is now prompting me because Percocet is a controlled substance. I need to electronically sign it. So I'm going to click my Ready to Sign, enter my password, and generate a code on my token, and type that code in here, and say sign. That's validating my digital certificate, and then it will give me the option to send it to the pharmacy. And because I immediately backed this up from the denial message, the pharmacist is not going to deny it as a duplicate. And we see my confirmation message across the top. So while we're still working with Olivia here, I'm going to go ahead and open up her document list, and you will see how these refill requests are reflected. As we look through the category column, we see the couple that we approved, and the category shows as a SureScript refill, and this progress note is reflective of the auto-generated encounter and that SureScript refill is the encounter type. So even though you don't have to arrive the patient, the system automatically creates and closes the encounter to go along with that refill and documents it here. Right above it, we see the standard request refill for the new prescription we just filled to go along with the denial, which is up here on the top. So you will see a reflection of all of your refill transactions with the pharmacy on the document list. The last thing we want to look at in this video is at the provider master level. So I'm going to go into settings configuration. We're going to open up Dr. Cooper's profile under our medics. And down here in the lower left, we have an option called refill receivers. This is where the physician can assign up to 5 additional associates. Initially, by default, if you do not assign any refill receivers here, only the prescribing provider gets the message from SureScript. But in cases where local workflow permits nurses or medical assistants to process these request refills on behalf of the physician, this is where you would assign those. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a couple of my nurses here. They will also get these refill request notifications in their own inboxes. And if under user role, I have given them the prescription permissions to approve, they will be able to do approve and deny as we just covered. So in review, providers must, of course, be enrolled through SureScript for the refill service. The request will come into the messages inbox as an attachment, initially to the prescribing provider, as well as up to 5 additional other users based on local workflow and setup. Supported events number 47 and number 50 should be enabled in order to ensure these alerts are received. And if the patient name within prognosis is not a match to the patient name on the prescription, you have the ability of resolving it so you can still process the request. Completing the request allows you to either approve or deny the prescription as is, or you can deny it and immediately follow it up with a new replacement prescription. The system auto-generates an encounter in the background and saves the details to the patient's document list. And of course, if you want to do refills for controlled substances, you do need to go through the EPCS implementation and setup.